All right, so we've got a bit of a curveball for you today. This explainer. Well, it's not the one we were planning on making. And why is that? Because the source material we were trying to get to literally locked us out. So, the plan was to dig into the real estate news website inman.com. We popped the URL into our browser, got ready to dive in and do the research for you, and we immediately hit a digital wall. And then, boom, this message popped up. A really simple, super familiar request, but it stopped us cold. And it got us thinking, this tiny little moment of frustration is actually the tip of a huge, fascinating technological iceberg. So we thought, forget the original plan. This is the story we need to tell. So that brings us to our first idea here, the digital roadblock. We've all been there, right? It's an experience that pretty much defines a huge part of being alive online today. It's a fair question, isn't it? I mean, why are we always having to do this? You know the drill. Clicking on pictures of traffic lights, trying to read those super wavy letters, or just checking a little box that says, I'm not a robot. Why do we have to keep proving our own humanity to a machine over and over again? Well, the answer, as it turns out, has less to do with us and way more to do with what we aren't. And that leads us straight to the real reason for all these roadblocks, the rise of the bots. Just think about that for a second. When a website asks you to prove you're human, that test isn't really for you. It's a gate. It's a barrier designed to keep something else out. So, who is this checkpoint actually for? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's all designed to stop bots. You know, those automated software programs built to just roam the internet and perform tasks at a massive, massive scale. And this is where you see the huge difference. I mean, look at us humans. We're kind of slow online, right? Our behavior is a little random, a little unpredictable. We click a link, we read for a bit, maybe we get distracted. Bots, they're the exact opposite. They are instantaneous. They can perform thousands of repetitive actions a second, 24/7, without a break. They operate on a scale that's honestly hard for us to even wrap our heads around. So, if bots are the problem, what's the solution? How in the world do you build defense against an invisible, lightning-fast army like that? Well, that defense is something we're going to call the human checkpoint. Faced with this crazy challenge, a bunch of really smart computer scientists back in the late 90s came up with this brilliant idea. They figured, let's create a test that only one side can possibly pass. And you definitely know this test by its acronym, CAPTCHA. The full name, by the way, is just perfect. It's a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. It's basically a reverse Turing test. It's not a person trying to figure out if a computer is smart. It's a computer trying to figure out if its user is human. So clever. Honestly, the easiest way to picture it is like this. CAPTCHA is a digital doorman. Its one and only job is to stand at the front door of a website and check IDs, letting real people in and keeping all the automated riffraff out. And the strategy behind it all is just beautiful in its simplicity. Step 1, come up with a puzzle that relies on uniquely human skills, like recognizing patterns or understanding context. Step 2, make absolutely sure that the same exact puzzle is incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible for a computer to solve with just logic. Okay, so it's a clever little test. But so what? Is this digital doorman really that important? Why go through all this trouble? Let's get into the real-world stakes here. Let's talk about why this matters. You might just think of it as an annoyance, right? But what actually happens when these bots are just left to run wild on the internet? What kind of trouble are we really talking about? It turns out a whole lot of bad stuff. Bots are the reason comment sections get flooded with spam and scams. They're the things that scalpers use to buy every single ticket to that concert you wanted to see in less than a second. They illegally scrape our personal data from websites, they post millions of fake product reviews, and they can even be used to attack a website with so much traffic that it just crashes completely. So when you put it all together, you realize that annoying little test is actually a pretty big deal. It's a vital line of defense. It's protecting the integrity of the services, the information, and the platforms that we all rely on every single day. It's a tiny price to pay for an internet that actually works. But here's the thing. This story is far from over. This is a constant technological arms race. And with AI advancing so quickly, bots are getting scary good at solving the very puzzles designed to stop them. That gap between what a human can do and what a machine can do is closing fast. And that leaves us with this massive, kind of scary final question, doesn't it? As AI continues to evolve and get better and better, when it can eventually pass every single cognitive test we throw at it, what happens then? When the machines can pass for human in every digital sense, how are we going to prove who's real anymore?